I'm gonna have to kindly ask all of the adolescents to please leave and go play with Legos somewhere else, because this one is for the grown-ups. Today we're gonna be talking about the importance of savings bonds and why compounding interest on your credit card debt is very important. A little bit later we're going to be discussing the various types of fine china and which ones are gonna be best for your summer holiday dinner party. We've got a guest speaker here, Martha Stewart, is going to be doing the table display. She's going to be doing the tablecloth and the flower arrangement, so that's going to be very fun as well. And finally, if we do have time, we can go over some various color swatches of some warming tones for remodeling your bathroom to bring some brighter notes into your home. Now that all of the kids are gone, it's time to get drunk and fuck shit up! Pieces of lost media with adult themes. Do you see this? Adult themes. So if you are not an adult and you are watching this, you will be arrested and you will be thrown in prison. You will be chained in a basement and you will be forced into a life of involuntary servitude. You don't want that. You don't want to be involuntarily serviced, do you?
When you think about how wide the range of lost media really is, and the interest people have in the different kinds of content. You have the rabbit hole of content from kids shows like Nick Jr. and PBS Kids, which seem to only grow in popularity. The nostalgic topics from channels that we watched growing up, like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, which are my favorite. And then at the other end of the community, you have the content that's more graphic than the usual kind of lost media. Dude, this is very dangerous. This is very dangerous. We're getting into not safe for work content from the internet, dude. Okay, and usually that entails, like, the furries love to make an appearance around that subject, dude. The furries really love to go all out in that regard, bro. So I really hope I'm not gonna get traumatized. Okay, I've been coerced. I've been coerced into various Google searches of some Rule 34s that I was very naive. Across articles
that I was taken advantage of here. Okay,
on the Lost Media Wiki before, or have heard about some of these in passing. Saki Sonobashi is one of the more recent examples, with it being in the horror genre, and all of the details surrounding its content. And while I usually don't talk about these kinds of topics, some of them are without a doubt interesting, and recently, I've come across a few that were more along these lines, that I think would be interesting to discuss in a video, in what I'm calling adult lost media. In fact, one of my older videos actually talked about a whole lot of topics like this, which were more graphic in terms of nudity and adult animation. But for today's video, we'll be discussing some lost media from all parts of the category. But just like all my videos, we won't get into
Mythbusters,
and I won't be showing.
Oh, dude, I know Mythbusters was getting into some crazy things. Woo! I know I heard a thing where they were like on an interview and they're like, yeah, dude, there's a whole bunch of shit we couldn't show because the producers are like, yeah, we're gonna get sued, and the lawyers and legal stuff. Dude, I know they were getting all kinds of banana things, dude. Like, there's some myths that have still yet to go busted, you know? And only these guys dare ever trench in that territory.
It's more about the information and
I know he was going crazy
in the fact that
R-rated scenes found on Toy Story 2. Was Bo Peep throwing it back? Where can I get a copy? Like, what? Why am I missing out on all the fun, dude?
Topics exist at all. So let's start with the first one, which actually has quite a bit of legacy to it. Out of all the international pieces of lost media that exist outside the US, it seems like we're always going to Japan for some really elusive content that hasn't been seen in decades or is so desired, an entire community spends a lot of its time searching for it.
They should release the R-cut Right? Release the Snyder Cut of the Toy Story. That's what the people need.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Phantom Blood movie is one of the best examples of this, because it was never released onto home media and hasn't been seen since its original theatrical release in 2007. But there's another anime movie that is desired in the same way, and also hasn't been seen since its original release, for reasons that place it in this video. This is Fist of the North Star. Even if you're not a big anime fan, you've probably heard of this series
That is a title.
before. It's one of those older franchises that was made back in the 80s
I wonder what
and
its,
was really
what
big
its
in
power
Japan
is.
at the time. It's received several different localization attempts since then, and the manga even received a new release not too long ago. But being one of those series from that era of Japanese media means it's full of violence and gore.
Okay.
This was really common at the time.
Okay. Have you watched Demon Slayer? Have you watched Demon Slayer?
Is another one of the traits
about gore and blood,
even in Japan. The manga itself wasn't censored upon release, but when Toei adapted the series into an anime, several forms of censorship had to be made to keep the series appropriate to air on Japanese TV. However, in order to promote the TV series, Toei decided to adapt the manga's first few arcs for a theatrical release, and retain the level of violence seen in the manga, which had never been created in
Sounds to me like there's
before.
no titties.
The film released in Japanese theaters in 1986.
I don't know, man, not very adult of you.
Was eventually
Everybody knows adult
from
just means titties.
And media outlets over how graphic the film ended up being. It was even stated that the animators studied human anatomy to make the gore as realistic as possible. Eventually, Toei did end up censoring the film as a result of mounting pressure, and this censored version is what was released onto home media, with many of the scenes being replaced with blurs and tints to limit the amount of violence that was shown. As a result, the full theatrical release with the uncut scenes has not been seen since its original premiere in Japanese theaters, and remains lost, with only pieces of its content having reappeared over the years. This includes an uncensored shot seen in an early trailer for the film, and most interestingly, two scenes from
an uncensored shot of what? An uncensored shot of what?
VHS release.
And who's got the link?
That keep the violence intact from the Japanese theatrical
I've got an
version.
idea.
It's not known why this VHS is not fully censored, like every other release the movie received, so it's been speculated to have either been from an unfinished edit of the film, or a draft between the uncut original and final edits. Though there have been a lot of claims over the years about what happened to the original version, which state it was destroyed in a fire or had a limited release on VHS.
That's how everything is gone. Everything gets destroyed in a fire, dude. So very convenient that fires just have the natural ability of destroying historical artifacts.
Streamline pictures. Neither of these are proven to be factual, and there was actually hard evidence debunking the streamline theory. As
fire was invented by the elites to keep us from learning the truth.
Hundreds of copies that have turned up so far have been censored. Apparently, this was a highly debated topic, as there were rumors that a certain barcode number indicated an uncensored version, but that doesn't seem to be the case. There have also been statements made that the film is simply being withheld at the request of the original manga artists, but Toei have never made a statement about its release either way, so it's not known.
I feel like at this point, a lot of this lost media, they should just drop this. They should just drop. Somebody's got it. Somebody's got it. You should just drop it and make bans. Throw like 2 ads on there. Right? Throw like a State Farm ad on there. Right? Just throw on like 2 ads and you making bans. You chilling, you know?
And there aren't any credible
because there's already so many people who are anticipating this, eagerly awaiting the arrival, you know? There's a lot of people who are already fans of this. They haven't even fucking watched it yet, just because of all the hype and the speculation and the mystery around it, you know? So I feel like you should just drop it, dude. Just drop it. Yeah, do like a Toyota truck month.
With the exception of one story that got passed around back in 2015 about a release of the uncensored version. There are claims that the Charles Theater in Baltimore, Maryland were going to play a special screening of Fist of the North Star in its original Japanese theatrical release, uncut and all. This would make it the first time the film has reappeared since 1986, and you can find it being discussed on many different forums at the time, with one user even having stated Toei's US office in Los Angeles confirmed it was the uncut version. Though what's even more interesting than the fact that this apparently happened is the fact that there isn't a single person online having confirmed it.
Not one person went to that movie theater. Not one. That's one of those movie theaters that's like on the brink of closing. It's only got about a year left. It's got about a year left. All of the movie tickets are $2. The popcorn is 3 weeks old, stale, and it's only $5. The popcorn's a bargain. Dude, they pay you to get rid of it, dude. They got so much fucking popcorn left over. They try to from last Christmas. They try to get rid of it. You know? You know what I mean? Like, they're just now debuting Infinity War. Just now. At that theater. They're showing the most obscure movies. Like, there's some random Bollywood movie that wouldn't even crack Billboard in its like natural charts, you know? Some like obscure Bollywood movie, and then they showed this. Not one single person went to this movie theater to go watch that movie.
Uncut version. And for a topic as popular as this back in 2015, that's surprising to me.
They sell candy that's been discontinued for the past 7 years, but they just have a stockpile of it, so they're just gonna sell it.
How most of these posts are from a single user named Joe, and that seems to add less credibility to the fact that this might have actually been the uncensored version. I did check the Wayback Machine, and did confirm the Charles Theater aired Fist of the North Star during an anime night promotion, but it's just not stated anywhere what version was played. This is like a modern day example of importing a bootleg VHS tape and finding rare content on it. Getting that uncut gory version would be a huge find. It's kind of interesting that for the amount of popular content that came from channels like Discovery and History over the years, I don't really see it get brought up or mentioned at all, lost media or not. There aren't really big communities for those kinds of shows that I've come across, like there are for Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon. But I certainly remember watching stuff like Pawn Stars and Mythbusters a lot growing up. They were really
Pawn Stars is a classic.
When you weren't in the mood for cartoons.
Classic.
Though I suppose I'm not one to talk about spreading their existence.
You know what else came in clutch? You know what else came in clutch back in the day? The infomercials, right? Like the one for the ladder. It's like six ladders in one, dude. Six ladders in one. Buy none, you get a step stool. Right? It's like an hour-long commercial. Those are fucking or like some like cookware. Some cookware, it's like encrusted with diamond coated and vibranium. Some shit, dude. It's like 2.5 hours of emerald cooking shit on this pan. That was fucking clutch.
Because I actually forgot that Pawn Stars existed until YouTube started suggesting to me their videos. And with Mythbusters, it was until I accidentally found some of Adam Savage's videos showing some of the creations he makes in his workshop. Actually, Adam's videos were a pretty big obsession of mine for a while, and a year or so ago, I did go down a rabbit hole of a lot of his content, just watching him make all kinds of wild stuff that I couldn't even imagine having the knowledge or materials to put together. I never expected to come across anything lost from his content, but lost media often shows up in surprising places. So while I was watching a lot of his content, and rediscovering that Mythbusters existed, I came across an article on the Lost Media Wiki that describes a banned myth from the show that has become rather infamous within the fandom, and
a cannibal mouse! Oh, I gotta see this. I gotta see a rabid cannibal mouse. Just got bro on a rotisserie. His ex. No, that's hard. What's the myth here? What's the myth here?
Actually, has some surprising history of its own. Each Mythbusters episode is made up of a couple different myths, and one of the myths tested in an episode of the series went so horribly wrong it was never aired. The episode in question is titled Steam Cannon, which was originally filmed in 2006, and tested the myth about if the cardboard of a cereal box was actually more nutritious than the cereal itself.
Is the cardboard... What? Who thought of this? Who the hell thought of that, dude? Is the cardboard... Somebody ate the box, dude. Somebody done ate the box. They're like, oh, this is scrumptious. This is scrumptious, right? They ended up gaining like 55 pounds from just eating cardboard, right? They got featured on My Strange Addiction. They're addicted to eating cereal boxes. Their family has had 4 interventions, and now he's just like trying to gaslight everybody. He's like, nah, you guys are wrong, dude. Cardboard is healthy. Cardboard's actually healthier with the cereal, dude. Dude. And he called up the Mythbusters. Mythbusters, they'll do anything. They'll do anything for like 25 bucks. Throw them a couple Bud Lights and they'll get right on it for you.
The myth itself is not necessarily a controversial one, and if you watch the actual segment from the show, the result is a little vague, because a large portion of it was cut. It was revealed years later in a Q&A session with Adam Savage that the original experiment involved 3 test groups of lab mice who would all eat a different variety of food. One group eats mouse food, the second group eats the cereal, and the third cardboard box pellets. The experiment lasted several days, with it being noted that the cardboard mice had begun acting strange soon after, and eventually, the crew came back to the experiment and discovered that one of the mice in the cardboard group had eaten the other 2. Discovery Channel...
No, that's crazy! That's crazy! Bro turned into a cannibal after eating cardboard. Dude, maybe that's why there's so many psychopaths in the world. They're on some weird diet. Maybe that's why vegans are so crazy all the time, dude, because they got that diet going on, you know? Maybe that's why they're always up in shambles all the time.
Refused to release the experiment as part of the episode, which is why the segment seems very vague, with Jamie even stating it wouldn't be a good idea to eat the cardboard from concerns about its toxicity. Apparently in the scrapped footage, Adam and Jamie tried to play off the experiment gone wrong as something out of a horror movie, but there was no saving this segment. Even if it had aired in this darkly comedic way, there's no way it would have gotten a pass from the mainstream viewer, and I'm sure controversy would have followed.
Oh, I would have loved that!
So it was probably a good thing that Discovery stepped in. However, it goes without saying that...
What do you mean? It wouldn't have been approved by the consumer. I think the consumer would have loved it. If you ask me.
This is the kind of thing you'd expect
as a consumer,
but what do I know? Behind-the-scenes special or convention.
I'm just a consumer, dude. I don't make movies. Not,
that actually did happen. Before the decision was made to pull the footage, Adam made a rough cut of the content and stated in his Q&A that it was shown to a Michigan university. Apparently, Discovery found out about this showing and called him up, asking never to show it again. Though the details surrounding this are not documented.
I'm telling you.
The Lost Media Wiki article states
they have blown somebody's dick off. I fully believe it. They're trying to do a jackass myth. They're like, yeah, if you tie a string to your ball and then tie it to a doorknob and slam it, what happens, dude? They're like, let's test this myth. It's sent a dude to the ER. He has 1 testicle now. Well, it's plausible.
Insisted Adam destroy his copy, but that Adam might still have it in his archives. though this is only speculation. Knowing Adam, I'm sure he still has it, but in the Q&A, he did seem to confirm that it's never going to see the light of day. So we probably won't have to worry about another leak. Though this might not have been the only time it was shown to the public. I discovered in the talk section, under the Wikipedia article for the season it aired in, there are mentions that the banned clip was shown during Adam and Jamie's live Mythbusters show once in Columbus, Ohio in 2008, and once in the spring of 2006. While I couldn't find any
they just decide to randomly show it. They're like, you know what? You know what? We like you guys. You guys have been a great crowd. Let's show you a cannibalistic mouse who has just ravaged his fucking boys, ate their guts from the inside out, and basks in their pools of blood. You guys are a great crowd. I'll see you next week, dude. And they take off.
This topic is one of the most popular in the community.
It's like an elementary school. It's at an elementary school in the library during the book fair, right? The kids get 15 minutes out of class to go buy some books. They're doing a presentation, and they show the kids the dead mice.
Wouldn't be surprised if it began circulating back then, before
they're like, so kids, this is what happens if you eat the books.
Now. Which brings me to another point about its context that
You'll just kill your friend.
Important to state. While I was researching this segment, I learned that while mice usually live on an herbivore diet, they will eat the bodies of deceased mice. I was under the impression that the mouse ate the other two from starvation. However, it seems more likely that the other two were already deceased, and that's why they were eaten. It doesn't really make it any less comfortable, but knowing how it relates to
I think he went rogue. I think he cornered one of them in the corner of the cage, and he fucking ate his throat. That's what I think happened.
Changes the story a little bit.
And he was laughing the whole time. He's a psycho. What is this? I can't read that fast. Dear boobies! It's about time! It's about time! Now let's get to the real video.
I've been wanting to talk about the two topics in this next segment for quite a while, but I just never had the chance to. And now they fit pretty well into this video. I wouldn't say these are necessarily graphic in terms of content, but this series isn't exactly intended for younger players either, and that's Dead or Alive. I'm not sure whether or not I should just meme along with everyone and say I really enjoy the cloth fabric used in the design of the costumes, or actually tell you guys how I got into the series, so I'll do a little bit of both. Unlike the reaction I got when I unboxed my statue of Kasumi, I really did get into the series
as a result
of checking out older and more iconic
He got his own personal anime girl.
Fighting games that I hadn't played before. It was right after I 100%ed Soul Calibur on Dreamcast, and wanted another 3D fighting game to try out. So Dead or Alive was the progression I took. The Dreamcast version was fun, but it seemed a little lacking in content, especially compared to Soul Calibur. So it was then I decided to look at the modern iterations from the series, and
what this got to do with
that's when I
boobies?
really started enjoying it. I bought 6 on the PS4 and played it quite a bit.
That's when he really started enjoying it, when the boobies was in 4K.
Which is where the
1080p, dude.
I really didn't like the default outfits the characters had.
You can see the
so
nipples poking out
the shop, hoping they'd have the classic ones I was familiar with from the older games. Well, they did have those ones and so much more. I knew the series was big on their different costumes, but this was really extensive.
What game is this?
I started looking through all of them.
I want to play this.
Until I realized there was a bit of lost media relating to them. I noticed some of the costumes couldn't be unlocked in the game through normal means, and they couldn't even be bought as DLC. They just weren't available at all. At the time, I was thinking about trying to 100% the game, and these costumes would be ones I was missing. So I looked it up, and apparently, there is no way to get them anymore. The ones that are not for sale could only be obtained through limited time events.
Oh
like
my god! What is this
itself.
game?
And now that
I gotta
those
play
events
this
are over,
exactly for research purposes. I gotta know, I gotta do some more research, more deep dive. This is I gotta, investigation. Light-skinned Sherlock Holmes. I'll find the lost media. You don't gotta worry.
Well,
Trust me. I will find that lost media.
I never liked this style of promotion.
Trust me.
I can't really be too mad about it, cause they left the best ones in the game. But this did get me thinking about other pieces of Dead or Alive lost media, and I actually did find another one.
Could you imagine being on the beach with your family, out in the sun, right? Your mom is rubbing suntan lotion on your dad's hairy ass back. Little bro is building a fucking sandcastle. Little sis, she's out playing in the ocean, right? There's some college kids are having a drunk fucking party. They're screaming spring break, but it's September. And they're drunk. They're high of Molly, right? There's a guy. He's walking around. He's selling hot dogs, right? Some seagulls. And then you just see two women bust out into combat, whip out swords, and start slicing each other's necks off. They just start sword fighting at the beach. You popped your volleyball already, dude.
That does make me disappointed, because it sounds like a game.
Kick over little Timmy's sandcastle.
That would have.
Now he's throwing a fucking hissy fit. Now he's squaring up to him with his shovel. He's got his little plastic shovel. He's ready to fight sword shovel combat.
It's been really fun to play. This game is called Dead or Alive Code Chronos and was in development for the original Xbox in early 2002, as seen in this early box art mockup sourced from IGN's website. It was supposed to act as a prequel game detailing how Kasumi and Ayane met before the events of the first Dead or Alive game, and was to stray from the fighting game formula in favor of being an action-adventure game like Ninja Gaiden. Despite high anticipation of the game within the fandom, it was never officially announced, and only details about its existence were referenced at the time. The most notable details surrounding its development were an interview with Play Magazine where Itagaki summarized the game's premise. And a promotional poster advertising Dead or Alive 4 shows the game teased alongside other upcoming projects at the bottom. Eventually,
what is that game? Dead or Alive?
Alongside other upcoming projects at the bottom. Eventually,
I had to do some research
a dispute between Itagaki and Tecmo would halt production on the game, resulting in his departure from the company, which led to Team Ninja issuing a statement in 2010 that the game was officially cancelled, further stating that it was only at the framework level. Since so little from the game was created, there aren't any other assets available online from it, with the exception of the game's logo, though Unseen64 makes an interesting point in their article on the topic. Dead or Alive Ultimate, which was released on the original Xbox in 2000.
Here's the real question, okay? I'm listening to this, okay, Dead or Alive, there's a game, nobody knows what happened, okay. Here's the real question. What does this have to do with boobies?
4 contains a scene with the young Kasumi and Ayane that could have originally been related to Code Chronos. We did get a handful of Dead or Alive games on the original Xbox, but I would have really enjoyed one that was more of an adventure, and it's unfortunate the series has never had another entry like this. If I made a segment for every time a piece of lost media got popular on Twitter, then instantly went back into obscure every time a piece of lost...
Since when has Scary Godmother been lost media, dude? It comes on Cartoon Network like every day for 2 weeks leading up to Halloween. One of the fucking greatest Halloween movies to ever be released. 1 and 2, back-to-back bangers.
Lost media got popular.
The Canadians, dude. Leave it to the Canadians to fuck everything up, bro.
On Twitter, then instantly went back into obscurity, I probably could have made an entire video just about those topics, because we have another one to discuss. This one wasn't brought up too long ago, and only caught my attention after
Now, this is where we get interesting. This is where we're getting interesting. Rated R Toy Story. This is where things get interesting, bro. This is, dude, Slinks is very flexible. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, bro.
Having been tagged in it a few times. But it's definitely one that wouldn't be appropriate for
Lotso,
kids,
if you tear him in the right spot,
actually made the headlines when the topic was originally discovered. In the year 2000, during the home media release of Toy Story 2, which Disney expected to be their best-selling DVD ever, a misprint
which Toy Story 2 is top 3 all time. Top 3 might be top fucking 2 if we're being honest. Might be top 2, might be top 1. Toy Story 2? Toy Story 2? Dude.
During the production of
you want to talk about a hood classic?
Discs caused controversy once it was discovered by none other than kids and their mother. The Toy Story Collector's Edition box set,
Barbie took her shit off, dude!
Known as the Ultimate Toy Box, contains Toy Story 1 and 2 on DVD. And it's the Toy Story 2 DVD that holds a surprise if you watch through the movie about 45 minutes in. The entire film changes to high fidelity, which is an R-rated movie, and plays a scene that contains some F-bombs. This news made its way to quite a few different...
That's it. That's it. The rated R is what he's saying, Buzz. What the fuck are you doing, you fucking dumbass bozo, bro? Clearly you spent way too much fucking time and space because you ain't got no fucking oxygen to that purple-ass fucking head of yours, you fucking dweeb.
Sites at the time, and the mother has a few quotes in the article expressing her disbelief at the whole issue. Disney stated the issue was the result of a duplication error which caused the movies to swap, but couldn't really explain it any...
if this was one of those cases, right? You know, the classic, oh, you know, VHS, oh, you recorded over my thing, right? It was like a sitcom fucking issue, right? Whatever, right? What if this was one of those cases? You bought a brand new, fresh Toy Story 2 DVD from Walmart. You take it home, you unwrap it out of the plastic, right? It's got that new DVD smell. Throw it in the DVD player. You know what I'm saying? The thing comes on, doo-doo, coming soon to theaters. You know that. Coming soon to Blu-ray. You know that guy. You know that guy, right? And then the Pixar lamp jumps, right? You're having a good time. It plays a short at the beginning. I think the short for Toy Story 2 was Bound. I think it was that one, right? It plays Bound, or the guy playing chess, right? Movie plays. About 45 minutes in, it cuts to extreme midget porn. I'm talking extreme midget porn. It just, no, and it cuts like 15 minutes into that video, right? It just like, it cuts you right into the middle of the action. Right? Boom. Right into the middle of the action. Things are being spread and turned and hung and slapped and sprayed and the oiled. Things are just getting all kinds of...
Further than that, and blamed the studio's manufacturer, Technicolor Video Cassette Inc., for the problem, who stated that they would look into it and how many copies were affected. According to an ABC News article, the affected box sets were only sold at Costco stores, and the 1,000 copies that the stores received were immediately pulled from shelves, which is where the mystery comes in. it doesn't seem like
There's at least 7 people bought one. There's gotta be. See, this is what I'm saying. Somebody's got it. Somebody's got that, dude. It's sitting in their garage and it's in a box, bro. Right? It's been collecting dust for 10 years, bro. Whip it out, bro. You got it. I know you got it.
anyone has come forward with a copy of the scene or uploaded it online, which is where a large amount of the interest in this piece of lost media is. The original tweet
and his name is Timothy.
About it got really popular,
drop that,
with 33,000 likes and nearly 4,000 retweets. So I did a little looking into the production and release of the box set, hoping to find some answers. The box set itself isn't hard to find, and you could buy a bunch of them from eBay and hope one of them has the scene in it, but there are more reasonable ways to go about trying to find it. The article with the angry mother reportedly bought her copy in Redmond, Washington.
You could just make a video and lie. It's 2022. People do that on the internet all the time. They make shit up and lie. They become Instagram models, you know? Like, think about it.
And there were more complaints from Salt Lake City, Utah, and Los Angeles, too. So if you narrowed the searches to those areas, you might have better luck in finding a copy. Technicolor also stated the error was only present in the box set versions of the DVD, and that only a small number of copies were affected from the batch, but several thousand copies of the sets ended up selling before the recall. This is one of those rumors from the playground where your friend claims they saw a cartoon character saying a swear word, and you don't believe them. Except this time, it's kinda true. And while it's not a huge piece of lost media, it's an interesting piece that would get a good laugh if it were to be found, as well as being a really cool collector's item to have.
Dude, I want Woody to fucking just let one loose.
It's surprising how some of the more adult
just let one loose. Like, shut the fuck up, Jesse!
The genre for the mainstream audience. The kinds of stuff you could find on the wiki that would be considered dark. And I feel like this is where lost media got that unsettling reputation most people connect it to in the first place. And while a lot of those topics feel like they've been around forever, I usually never paid attention to them, with the exception of content from the animation category. There certainly are some pieces of lost animation that I first discovered a long time ago that do have that unsettling feeling to them. And Disney is usually one of the companies
I always have that feeling.
Despite their clean image, they're constantly the subject of something adult or controversial, even if it's not directly they're doing.
Oh God, you want to talk, dude? That is not lost. You want adult content in Walt Disney? Just watch anything from 1943 back. 1943 backwards? Golden. Watch literally absolutely anything. 9 times out of 10 it's gonna be racist. Nine times out of 10 it's gonna be racist. And I'm pretty sure the one is like homophobic.
Like Mickey Mouse in Vietnam, which was actually made by Adam Savage's dad, and the Mickey and Minnie adult film that we talked about in my—
The Mickey and Minnie adult film! Stop! They got a sex tape! Who got the link? Who's got the link to Minnie getting her shit blown? Who's got it? Somebody has the link. One of you freaks, one of you raging maniacs has the link. I know it.
My previous video on adult animation. But there's another piece of animation that fits in with these, and could even be considered a sequel.
What about Daisy? Okay.
Some way, because it puts those same Disney characters in an unflattering
You see what you guys do to me? See the effects?
In 1964, a student by the name of Robert Swarth took part in the UCLA animation workshop and created a piece of animation called Uncle Walt, which has lived on in rumor and mystery for nearly the entirety of its existence. I don't like the sound of that. I don't like the sound of that.
Like Uncle Walt. Like if you got an Uncle Walt is creepy. You know? He's been to jail. Right? He's gonna go to jail. You know, if people find out what Uncle Walt's been up to recently, you know?
The piece is a parody
Uncle
of
Walt.
Disney characters doing a lot of non-Disney things, according to a documentation of the short.
Disney characters doing a lot of non-Disney things. Lilo and Stitch are railing lines of coke off of the edge of the surfboard, dude. Hercules is in there, and he's blasting through 15 women at the same time, bro.
From Wade Sampson on Mouse Planet. The article goes on to describe its content.
Cinderella and
As the
Sleeping
film
Beauty are
began,
fighting each other.
Pictures of Walt Disney at various ages were followed by a pan across a graveyard showing the graves of hundreds of Paris. And there were scenes with a very early style Mickey and Minnie Mouse with racial caricatures and outhouse
Yeah, we
gags.
knew that.
A Fantasia sequence, including the female Centaurettes working a red light district with Goofy as a pimp.
Nah, that's hard! Nah, that's hard, bro! Goofy a pimp, bro, that's hard!
Frightened little rabbit children looking at scenes from Disney
That's
cartoons,
clean!
like the transformation of the Queen into the old hag in Snow White, and a scene of the Seven Dwarfs gathering to worship Mickey Mouse in a mouse mausoleum reminiscent of a similar scene in Snow White. There was a rumor that
But where's the Mickey Minnie video? That's what the people want. That's the real lost media, dude. We get it. Mickey was racist, bro. That's not what I'm worried about. That's not what I'm here to see. You can't just throw something out there like that. You can't just throw something at me. Like, oh, hey, yeah, by the way, dude, Mickey blew his shit out on camera. And just not, like...
claimed the animation was actually done at Disney in 1954, and wasn't intended to be released, but was allowed to be screened as long as it wasn't listed in the official program or advertised. However, this was debunked by Robert himself, when he stated it was a project that began in high school and was his first work before going on to become a professional animator on several different projects. But for as coveted as this animation has become to lost media enthusiasts and Disney fans, it's rarely been seen, and there doesn't seem to be any plans to change that. The only documented public screening of the animation was in June 1972 at the American Film Institute as part of their
Are we still on the topic of the tape?
50 Years of American Animation.
We're still on the topic of that tape, right? I know who can get this tape out to the world. Kris Jenner. That's who we need to call. Oh my God. She'll find a way to make it, or she'll like deep fake Kylie on there. Right? She'll like deep fake Kylie. Or it's like she'll deep fake Kendall and Devin Booker, right? On Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. Right? And then drop it to the world. Create another scandal. You know? That's who we need to call. Kris Jenner, dude. She can put shit into motion. She can get shit done, dude. That's who we need to fucking call. You need somebody to drop a sex tape? There's your woman.
With Swarth himself believing to be the only person in possession of a copy. Though I did find a Reddit thread from only 2 years ago where a user claims to have gotten in touch with Robert and says he has no intentions to ever release it publicly. This was apparently confirmed after reaching out to a personal friend who had their contact info available on the UCLA website. But even if you have doubts this user actually did all of that, the outcome of never getting a release sounds pretty accurate to me. I don't see a reason
He's keeping it for his own. He's like, nah, you will never see this. You will never, nobody shall dare set eyes upon something like this. How selfish is that? How selfish is that, dude? He keeping it all for himself. Imagine gatekeeping. Imagine gatekeeping a tape like that, bro. Minnie Mouse in all of her glory. Mickey in all of his glory. And you're just gonna gatekeep it. Imagine.
Decide to release it after all this time, when the interest has been there for the past several years. I'm probably not as interested in seeing this piece as much as I am the Mickey and Minnie adult animation, which is only rumored to exist, but I think these topics definitely have that added intrigue for the fact that they contain content that was taken away for reasons outside of our control, and what's in them is best if they're experienced. You can read Adam Savage's recollections of the band myth all day, or summaries of what Uncle Walt was like, but until you actually see them, you're not going to be satisfied just knowing they
I am not going to be satisfied until I see that damn tape!
exist. And I think that's a little different from regular pieces of lost
Hold
media.
up the tape!
It's time to
Robert! Fork it over!
keep that streak going and mention Meso Blues again. Well, I really want to see that animation, and it's one of my most wanted pieces of lost media. The short clips that are already available do give us a good idea of what the rest of it is like, and in that way, we can feel more satisfied. But uncut anime battles that Japan of all places wanted to censor, and haven't been seen since 1986 in the theaters themselves,
the Mickey
is
tape?
on another level. Content like this is always found in surprising ways, so it might only be until one person uploads it before we can watch it.
You know,
Might
little
only
side note, little tangent. This thing, right? This little thing that looks like a smiley face. My entire existence on the internet, I thought that this was just like a little, you know, like a little. Cause that's how people, when I was in middle school, dude, people was throwing this up. Turns out it's a letter. It's a Japanese letter. Have we been appropriating their culture? Right? And fucking just smiling with it, dude. Like, they was throwing this up, dude. They was throwing this up like emojis back in the day.
Be until one person uploads it.
Throwing it up
before
like the
we can
woo, bro.
watch
It was crazy.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to check out some of my other lost media videos.
Listen.
Thanks for watching.
I'm sure we're all aware of it at this point, but none of this video matters. This video is 27 minutes long, and there was only about a 2-minute portion in there that actually truly matters. Okay? And I will not rest. I will not sleep. I will not die until the day that I lay eyes upon that mouse tape. Only then will I truly be satisfied in life. I don't know who, okay? Somebody's got to know Kris Jenner, okay? We're a lot of big ballers in here. Somebody's got to have the hookup. Somebody's got to have her number on speed dial. Somebody hit her up. Okay, we got to get this out to the world, dude. This is what the people truly need to see.